Well, that was really the big centerpiece of everything that was going on in New York City over this last week. I mean, we were there with not only the Taylor Swift wedding, you had a World Cup game that was coming up, the Yankees were in town, you had the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. I mean, it just went on and on and on.
The Heat Dome.
Yeah, the Heat Dome that was happening. You had people scaling the Empire State Building.
It was a lot.
King Kong.
It was just some crazy stuff. And what an interesting time to have just a radio award show. That's the reason why we went to New York City, which, you know, only a handful of people were there for that.
And they had been planning this thing well before Taylor and Travis announced that this was going to be their, wedding.
I would assume so, yeah.
No one knew that this was even going to be the wedding for sure because it was so secretive.
Right.
And so this radio conference was planned like months and months and months and months ago, but how lucky for them that they were bringing all these radio chuckleheads to town the same exact weekend as Taylor was getting married.
Yeah. So the award was from a guy named Scott Shannon, and if you are a New Yorker or you live there, he started the radio station Z100 back in 1983. When I went to college and I started to love radio, my school made us get an internship, and so I said, I want to go where the best of the best is, and I said, that's Z100. I heard about the legend. Now, when I got there, Scott Shannon, he was already gone, but the big plaque said worst to first, because that's what he'd taken Z100 from the last place radio station all the way to the first place radio station. That kind of built the legacy. The man himself then went on to discover Madonna, who used to hang outside the Z100 studios and try to get in every Thursday. And Scott's like, I don't know, this girl got armpit hair. What does she want? And finally, after her persistence paid off, he brought her up and played this song that she had called Borderline. And people in New York City loved the song, and it started playing in all the clubs and all over the place, and that really kind of launched the career of Madonna.
Was that on Z100?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool that back then you were able to break stars. Think about that. That doesn't really happen anymore.
I don't know. Kevin broke Brian Thomas a few weeks ago.
Okay.
You're right. All right. My bad. That's on me.
I don't know. I saw that magic. Not as magical as Scott Shannon, but he's like a low budget Scott.
Yeah. So the thing with Scott is just there are all these parallels. Like one of my favorite groups growing up was the band Kiss. And Scott Shannon actually worked for their record label at the time. And they had an album that had come out. And there was this song called Beth. It was a ballad. And none of the radio stations wanted to play it because they're like, it's a rock group. You're not going to play a ballad. Like, nobody plays ballads. And he kept pushing, pulled all these strings, and got Beth on the radio. And it became Kiss's biggest commercial hit ever.
Oh, wow. And it burned up Gene Simmons that he didn't come up with the biggest hit. That really annoyed him.
Yeah. So for me, it was really great because doing that internship got me my first real radio opportunity, and that was actually to work on a morning show with his former producer in New York City at Z100 and WPLJ. And so I learned for 2 years how to do mornings like Scott Shannon, everything from how to prep and how to get ready. And so my whole mindset really was based on Scott Shannon. In fact, the prep template we use every single day, and I have for 31 years, came from Scott Shannon. So to me, his thumbprint is all over my entire career. So to be the first person to get his award, it's just like, this is just so wild to me that this is actually happening.
And he lives part-time down here in South Florida.
Yes,
so
right.
That's how he knew about KVJ, and that's how he's like listened to you on the radio, which is like mind-blowing to think that Scott Shannon tuned in our show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's a cool thing too, because you taught me how to do prep after. So it's kind of like this
it is,
cycle.
You see that in the NFL. They talk about coaching trees, and you have that lineage, and you will do the same processes as somebody, and you'll see success sometimes through a tree. And so, yeah, absolutely. Anybody who's then worked under me, you're then getting the trickle-down effect of having worked for Scott Shannon, which is what was really great to be able to get this award. And then on top of it, the guy that really gave me my first big opportunity where I was able to work with Scott Shannon's producer, then hired me in Kansas City. And we were just great friends. And every day after the show, we just cut up. And so we would always joke about Scott Shannon because this guy's such a legendary figure. And the biggest thing about him was how he would just cut people down. He's a very sarcastic, cutting kind of dude and funny. If you know Scott, that's just how he is. He's like, oh, I need to find somebody around here that knows how to do some radio.
You guys suck.
Yeah. he was always just saying some stuff like that. And so the guy who I sat with for 4 years, and we would do Scott Shannon impressions every day after the show, he's sitting there right in front of me. He's looking back. He's like, how surreal is this that we did this for 4 years? And Scott Shannon was up there, and I had no idea. Anytime I get one of these awards, I get roasted, which I love. I think it's hysterical, but Scott's going all in on me. Yeah, just roasting me. And my buddy's looking back. He's like, isn't this unreal that Scott Shannon is like now cooking you on stage? I'm like, this is fantastic.
It's just unreal that Scott Shannon knows your name.
Yes.
Like what? Like you know who we are? That is just mind-blowing.
That's how I started. I'm like, look, I was just happy that Scott Shannon knew my name. So to get this is above and beyond. And of course, what always happens with KVJ stuff, I have some kind of crazy juju just around me. Technical stuff falls apart. Things never work right.
It's the KVJ electromagnetic field around specifically Kevin Ralston.
Especially if you're in pictures, it looks like you're in pose.
You don't look real in pictures, and every kind of piece of computer equipment around you loves to fry out when you're using it.
It's unreal. I don't think I've ever done one event where somebody didn't come to me and be like, Kev, we have a catastrophic failure. I'm like, of course we do. I'm
Kevin,
like, I've never done
technical difficulties follow you everywhere.
Nothing ever goes seamlessly. Everything and it's always not a small problem. It's always a massive problem. So here they are, and they've got this fantastic produced video that was playing right before Scott Shannon introduced me on stage.
And we're in this theater. That's a really nice theater. And the theater is packed. All these people are watching it, but it's a movie screen.
Yeah.
Like it's that big of a theater. And this is the video that played.
Of course, there's a technical issue.
KVJ Show has earned a top 3 finish in Hot AC and Barrett Media's Top 20 series, voted on by format programmers and industry executives nationwide. Now, the kid from Logan, Ohio.
We'll never know.
Oh, for God's sake. All right, we're going to have to cancel the presentation.
The video glitched, and then there was just silence, and it freeze framed on Kevin's face.
And on top of it, as I was listening back to this, I'm like, there's something that's going on here. I mean, not only, okay, the video stops and there's all kinds of chaos that goes on. And I'm listening, I'm like, what is this in the background?
We'll never know.
Did somebody fart?
Yes. And then on top of it, someone farts. So of all the chaos that's going on, the whole projector just stops, and then somebody just rips ass right in the theater. I mean, super loud.
You guys have a lot of New York stories, I gotta tell you.
It's just unreal.
How disrespectful. Someone farted on your award?
And then listen to the timing of Scott Shannon. It makes it sound like he hears it.
We'll never know.
Oh, for God's sake.
Technical difficulties once again.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it goes.
Luckily, it was like the back end of the video, so.
Yeah, back end, all right.
It was the back end. Yeah. But you know, the thing that was really cool, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to be able to do that, because it's not often that you get to stand in front of people and say thank you to people that have helped you along the way. And that's what I loved with that opportunity, is to be able to thank, you guys here on the show, and thank, our local management and people that have helped along the way. And so that was really cool to be able to do that, because I think about that. There's so many people that always help you, but it's so awkward. What are you going to do? Walk up and be like, hey, man, I just wanted to tell you that you just don't get that too often in life. And it really shouldn't take getting an award before you can let people know that, hey, you've had a major contribution to my career. In fact, my friend John, who I was sitting there with, that I'd grown up, we did the Scott Shannon impressions with. I tried to quit the industry back in 1996. I gave him my 2 weeks notice. I'm like, I got to get out of this, man. Radio's crazy. It's unstable. I'm out of here. And he's like, I'm not going to accept it. I'm like, what do you mean you're not going to accept it? And he's like, go back to work. I'm like, okay. And like Jedi mind tricked me. I just went back to work, and he wouldn't accept my 2 weeks notice. And
he said you wrote it all out. He said you had a cover letter.
Oh, I did.
And you had a whole thing, and it was your resignation. And he's like, nope.
It was so professional.
Now get back to work.
Right. And I'm like, all right. And it kind of confused me so much, I stayed in radio. And so thankful I did, because if he would have been like, all right, man, sorry to see you go, I would have just walked out and I wouldn't be here today.
And how cool is it? That guy, John Zellner, was in the crowd watching you get your award and
it was
watch
amazing.
Scott Shannon talk about you.
Yeah, it was just really kind of wild. And then what I really loved the most was at the end, just talking about how Scott Shannon's so good at self-deprecating humor. I pour my heart out, right? And I'm thanking everybody. And it's so glowing towards Scott Shannon. And as soon as I'm done, he steps up to the microphone.
A generation of broadcasters just like me. And thank you so much for making me the inaugural recipient of this amazing award. Please give it up for Scott Shannon.
So I make it all about Scott. It's his award. It's all great. And here he comes up to the microphone.
Come on, man. Thank you.
Yay.
That had to be the worst acceptance speech
That has to be the worst acceptance speech I ever heard in my life.
He immediately started bagging on it.
What's going on? People are farting, getting roasted.
Oh, man, it was something, baby. It was something. But it's something I'll
awesome.
definitely never forget, and it was a career highlight. So very cool.
Well deserved.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you all very much for being a part of this crazy ride we've been on for 27 years. So
What
it
a
is definitely
moment.
a cumulative effort from everybody that has gotten us there.
I think that was a peak. We've peaked.
Yeah,
so
and
it's all
okay.
downhill from here, baby.
Believe me, I'm bringing the show down.
Oh, tomorrow's going to be terrible.
Tomorrow.
Terrible's gotten us to where we are, so let's not stop.